I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-Minute Convos, where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good day, Joe Panella. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful day?
Well, I'm doing great. I'm over here in Tucson, Arizona, enjoying about 82-degree weather.
Ouch.
Just finished my practice outside in the sun. I was up there for sunrise and filled with energy and ready to talk with you now in the audience.
Well, I am excited. The episode right before yours is one guy saying he's in France and it's cold, and you are now in Arizona, right, in the sun. Well, that's pretty amazing. Well, Joe, tell me, which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time?
Well, Angel, I have the unique ability to help people learn how to move again freely without pain. This came about because 26 years ago, I had an awful auto accident. I fell off a mountain up in Flagstaff, Arizona, fell 200 feet, landed on my head, broke my neck and my back, and I was paralyzed, from the neck down. And all the doctors up there told me that I would never walk again, I'd never eat again, I'd never feed myself again. And physical therapy told me, the same thing. And I refused to accept that because while I was in the emergency room for 18 hours while they waited to operate on me, they had to stabilize me before they could operate on me. And during that 18-hour period, I had this out-of-body experience where I was up in the corner of the room and I observed everything that happened in the operating room, the emergency room that day. I heard everything. And I had this knowing that I was going to be okay. And my thought was, okay, Joe, you had an accident. You got hurt. You're here in the hospital. Now they're going to fix you and everything will be okay. Well, unfortunately, that wasn't the case. And after several operations, the doctors told me that I would be paralyzed from the neck down and I'd never walk again. Mm-hmm. So at that point, after several operations and a month or so in the hospital, they sent me off to physical therapy. And I was really excited now because every time I told the doctors in the hospital that I was going to be okay and that I was going to be able to walk again, they would say I was in denial and I refused to accept my fate. And then they would give me some more medications and send me to more counselors and more doctors. And everybody kept on saying, Joe, you have to accept your fate. And I kept saying, well, I had this out-of-body experience, which made them give me more medication. Everybody thought I was nuts. But I did go off to physical therapy, and I was really excited, because now I thought, well, these people are going to help me get better. And when I got there, I found out that their goal was to teach me how to help other people help me so I wouldn't be a burden getting in and out of bed, getting in and out of cars, getting in and out of wheelchairs. So I did that for almost the better part of the first year. For 3 hours in the morning and 3 hours in the afternoon, they would lower me on a chair into a whirlpool, into a jacuzzi. And I would sit there and bubble in the water with a blindfold on so I would imagine I was back in the womb again. And after several months, I actually started to move. And at that point, I started to get some feeling back. And that feeling started to come back as terrible pain, which was ironic. Here I was worried that I had no feeling. And then when it came back as excruciating pain. I had to learn how to deal with that also. So I called back to the temple again and I said, I'm starting to get feeling. It's coming back as pain. I'm starting to be able to move a little bit, but I have no control. My arms move involuntarily. They jerk around. They smack me in the face. They hit me. What can I do? And they said, well, now turn to a form of Tai Chi and start to practice. And all the movements that you want to do, turn them into an exercise. And imagine that you're picking up your food with your wrists. And then imagine that you bend your elbows and bring the hands towards the face. And imagine that you empty the food into your mouth. And imagine an exercise that would be able to deliver the food to your mouth, and create one and make one and start to practice that. And I did. And I did that for months and months and months, and I learned how to eat again. I learned with both hands. I now eat with both hands, shave with both hands. I can do everything with both hands now, because when I learned from Tai Chi was how to do everything with both hands.
That is fascinating, my friend. Where can people connect with your story, even connect with you if they wanted to find out more about Qigong and even what you've gone through?
Well, they can go right to my website, real simple, joepanella.com. And on my website, they can see a little video. They can see the x-rays in my neck. They can listen to my story. They can see the car accident.
Wow.
And really give them a real feel of what I've went through. Of course, nobody would understand, but it took 7 years to completely recuperate.
Yeah, which in itself is a mental task, right? The fact that it's not the quick fix, like the pill, like taking a pill for the pain, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Joe, I am totally intrigued to ask you the next amount of questions that I want to, right? So I'm asking, let's switch gears, right? But before I do that, so Joe Panella, again, JoePinella.com. That's the best place for you to connect with Joe. Joe, let's switch gears for a moment. Let me invite you now into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Joe, what is your earliest childhood memory?
Oh, my earliest childhood memory. Well, this might not be my earliest one, but it's one that impacted my whole life. My grandfather was an Italian immigrant and spoke broken, very, very little English. And I spent a lot of my childhood with him, 3, 4, 5 years old, before he passed on. And he would try and instill these values in me, things that I could carry on the rest of my life, but I never knew that that's what he was doing. So one night we were sitting in the backyard. It was the summer. We were around the picnic table and the umbrella was open. And my grandfather said, I'm getting a little tired. I want to go to sleep, but I usually stay out here until everyone's gone and close the umbrella so that the wind doesn't blow it over at night. So he said, if I go to sleep now, will you do that for me tonight so I don't have to worry about it? And I said, oh, absolutely, Grandpa, I'll do that. No problem. I'll close the umbrella. Well, lo and behold, I forgot to do it. And in the morning when my grandfather got up, the umbrella was opened, and I thought he was going to be angry at me and, yell at me for not doing it. And he never said a word. And I said, I'm really sorry, Grandpa. I didn't close the umbrella. And he said, well, here's the deal, Joe. He said, when you give your word that you're going to do something and a person is going to believe that you're going to be responsible to do it, and then you don't do it, how can I ask you to do it again? He said, because when I go to sleep, I'll be worrying. I won't be able to sleep because will you remember? Will you not? So from now on, when you say you're going to do something, think about it before you say yes. Can I do it? Will I do it? Will I remember? And when you say yes, make sure you do it.
Wow.
And I took that lesson for my whole life. I always made sure that I did what I said I was going to do, and I was always responsible.
Wow, that is fascinating. Why do you think this memory is so clear, Joe?
Because I used it my whole life. I was in business my whole life, and I always dealt with people in a fair, honest way. And if I gave my word that I was going to do something, whether I won, lost, or anything, I did it because I said I'd do it.
Well, can I offer an interpretation to the thought picture you created in my mind with that story?
Please.
I love the idea of the thread, if you would, that goes through your life of the teacher and the way the teacher has impacted your life. It's intriguing to hear the story of the one paper, and you stand on that. And then there's the story of your grandfather, right? But it's really amazing how you take these stories, and it's as though they become the fabric of who you are. And it's amazing how in that learning you've been able to grow what seems to be like 10x what could have been, right? like the Joe that could have been without this knowledge, in action, of course. And that's just fascinating how it connects.
Well, I believe life is a circle and everything just keeps on going around. And I believe every single thing and every single person we come in contact with is a seed. We just never know when it's going to grow, how it's going to grow, or if it's going to grow.
Amazing. If we fast forward to when you were 12, what was your favorite song?
Well, when I was 12 years old, I was playing the accordion, and my family were mostly first-generation Italians in this country. And every Sunday was visit Grandpa and Grandma, and all the grandchildren would come by, and I would go there with my accordion, and we would sit around and sing all these old Italian folk songs. My Uncle Sal played the guitar, I played the accordion, my Uncle Frank played the harmonica, and it was a big family fest. So I can't give you the name of the song because they were just old Italian fake folk songs.
All right.
That's what I remember.
All right, Joe. Definitely great memories. Again, the idea of things being passed on, right? Just consistently, you're the guy. You're like the magnet, aren't you? You are like the magnet. That's amazing. Well, Joe, we have arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Joe?
Yes, I am.
Joe, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Actually, someone has chosen me. I had a young girl who was a yoga teacher and a yoga practitioner. She was an Ayurvedic practitioner and a registered nurse. And I worked with her mom, who had some serious back issues for a while, and her mom got better. And the daughter came to me and said, will you teach me what you did? Because I wasn't able to help my mother with my skills. So she has become my student, and I am in the process of passing on as much of the knowledge, the gift that was given to me to her.
Are you married, Joe?
Yes, I am.
And do you have children?
No, I don't.
Do you believe in God?
Oh, that's a tough one. What I believe in is a universal life force. Some call it God, some call it Buddha. I call it Tao. But there's this energy in the universe that pervades all living things, the rocks, the sand, the sky, the moon, the trees, the birds, everything. So there's this universal life force. Yes, I believe that there is some force.
And do you have an inner circle of friends?
I have a very small inner circle of friends. I'm kind of a private person. But the friends I do have been lifelong and really, really close people that I can count on.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
Well, to be honest, I haven't had a TV for about 30 years. I don't watch TV.
What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Well, for me, it's much, much less than 8. I'm probably an hour to 2 hours a day on the computer. That's it.
If you had to share with us a statement that represents Joe Piniella, your own unique real statement, what would you say that is?
Oh, I would say what the mind can imagine, the body can attain. If we just have positive thoughts in our mind and believe we can, and we will.
Love it. Joe, this was a great pleasure, my friend. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I'd just like to tell everybody out there that we all have this amazing ability to heal ourselves. If you think about it, when you break a bone, it heals. It heals by itself. So that means that there's this innate ability to heal ourselves. It's right in our DNA. It's part of our survival mechanism. So what happened to me wasn't a miracle. What happened to me was I learned how to tap into that innate healing ability, and my body healed itself. And it's in everybody. It's in everyone's DNA. I have a gift for you if you're listening to us today. If you go on my website, it's a little ebook on the 9 principles to healing through movement. So go to joepiniella.com and you can get the free ebook and start to look at some of these healing things you can do right now to change your life.
Love it. Joe Piniella, one more time, I'd say thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Angel, what a pleasure and a gift. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition the signs and symptoms and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.